we're watching, because it looks like I was supposed to click another button to make this actually go live. That's funny. So it looks like, here's what's funny, everybody. So we're just going to do a Q&A for the next 10 minutes after I finish this up. It looks like the reason why there wasn't anybody in here is because I had to click another button to go live with this. Usually what I do with YouTube is I point it at my go live thing and it just goes on. What happened here is that it was having this stream go out, but it was private. So I'm guessing that everyone that was in the chat was chatting with me because they got a notification somewhere, but didn't actually get on there. So that's what happened. So I've been going on here. I was on Amazon also doing a simulcast, but I've been streaming essentially for the last hour and nobody saw it because it wasn't live. How's that? That's funny. Okay. So I'm just finishing up a extras channel thing with this case here. And when I am done with this little mini review, I will chat with you all for a little bit before I go have some lunch. So that's what we're going to do. So I was wondering, it was weird because usually I do get more than like 15 people in a live stream. So that's what happened. Huh. Okay. Well, hang on, everybody. I got to do a quick wrap up piece here, and then we will go from there. So let me just go back to here. Hello, Flood of Sins. That's funny. I really thought I was streaming out the whole time, and then I noticed on my screen there's a button to push. They have a new interface for the live streaming, and I was just curious, why was I not getting anybody tuning in? So that's why. All right. Well, I'm going to just finish up this little mini review I'm doing. I actually did most of what I had set out to do because I've been going for about an hour here. And that's funny. Yeah, so it just started. Now I think it's notifying people. So what happens is that when I set the thing to start, it was in a preview mode, and I'm guessing that it was letting you know that there was a stream coming, so you all came in to see the nothing screen but could chat with me. So that's what was going on there. So, so BB Garnett's been waiting patiently. Sorry, everybody. This is like, this is how this stuff doesn't always work for me. All right, so I'm just going to finish up what I'm working on here. I guess I could play back what I did. Would that be helpful? I don't know. Okay, so let's go through here. I am live right now also, by the way, everybody, on Amazon. So I've been doing a little experiment with Amazon has a live streaming thing now. So we're doing that simultaneously. So that was live. So if you were on Amazon watching me, you could see me there. All right, and then I'm going to do a little Q&A with all of you to make up for it. So hang on a second here. So let's get this other thing wrapped up here. So here, I'll show you what I just did. You can all tell me what you thought of it. So let me just mute myself. Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I got a new phone the other day that we reviewed on the main channel, my iPhone Pro 11. And as many of you know, these things cost a fortune, so you want to protect them from damage, even though I am paying for the Apple Care. And I was at a show in New York City the night before the phone came out, and the folks from Catalyst were there, and they handed me a new phone case for my new phone that I thought I would give a shot at here. So we're going to do that. So we're going to review this case real quick and see how it fits my new phone. And I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that this did come in free of charge from Catalyst. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Nobody is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed it or approved it before it was uploaded. So let's take it out of the box here and see how it all works. There are some fingerprints on this because I did already unbox this with some takes that I did earlier that didn't go over too well, so I wanted to reshoot the video here. So in any event, pretty nice case here. It's got a good lightweight feel to it. You've got a clear plastic back here. And what we're going to do now is insert my phone inside of it and see how it all snaps together here. So that's that. Pretty easy to get into the case. It's also easy to take it out of the case, I found, because I've already done that twice. So what you can do here is just kind of push it out from the cameras, and you're free of your case if you don't want to use it all the time. So it's pretty nice to be able to get in and out of this pretty easily. Feels pretty good. It does add a little bit of width to your phone, which is always what happens when you use these rugged cases with it. But it feels like it provides decent protection. I'm not going to do a drop test with the case because I don't want to damage my phone. But what I will do over time is give you an update and see how it does when I do accidentally drop my phone out in the wild, to see how it holds up. Now, it does have a lip around the top of the case here, so if your phone lands flat, the case will make contact with the ground first. The one thing to be concerned about would be whether or not there's a rock or something that's under the screen as it falls. So you might want to pair this up with a screen protector. They do not include a screen protector with this case. One thing that's unique to this one is that it has a dial here for your silent mode. So you don't have to kind of dig in and try to find the little switch here to turn it on or off. The only thing I can see happening with this is that I put my phone in my pocket a lot. I can see it accidentally getting tripped when I pull it out of my pocket. So we'll have to see how that works out for me over time. But I do like the convenience of a very simple twist dial here versus something else. All the buttons here seem like they're in the right place. I can turn the phone off and on. That works fine. You get the button there. Cameras are exposed. You can see you can get access to your lightning plug down here. It should work with most cables, so that's good. I tested it out with sound a little bit earlier, so it wasn't muffling anything, so that is a good thing. What I want to do now, though, is test out the wireless charger that I use to make sure I can still charge it through the case. Let's take a look at that. Yes. All right, so we're going to now finish up the rest of this video, and then I'll show you what I did on the stream that I thought I was streaming on, so you can all get a feel for what I was doing, because I was sitting here talking to myself, but that's what I do all day long anyhow. So, all right, let me just finish this up real quick. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we've got my wireless charger out here, and now we want to see if we can charge through the case, and it looks like, does it? It does. So we are good to go on that. It is charging. Let me start that again. You know what I should probably do is get my other wireless charger, which is more vertical. I am actually going to get I'm going to look for a rig that I can put over my desk here, because I want to be able to shoot straight down. And I actually want to redo my lighting, because what I want to do is have what they call a China lamp, which kind of just diffuses light down evenly on top of the desk, and I can get rid of this thing over here, which continually shines against my forehead. And then I can shoot straight down. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do. I'm just trying to see if I can get a good angle on the case here when it attaches. What's funny is that the iPhone doesn't light up like it used to when it gets the wireless charging going. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do it that way. So I think what I want to do maybe, I guess I could just do it like this. That's what I'll do. Or I could go get my other charger. Let's see. Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's what I should do, BB Garnett, is have a drone on top. That'd be fun. Have all the wind blowing everything off the desk. That'd be great. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's cut over here. I think that works. I can just kind of do it that way. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I've got my wireless charger out here, and what we're going to do now is just attach my phone to it and see if it will charge, and it does. So it looks like the charger works. The case is pretty nice, not too bad. Again, it's going to add a little bulk to your phone, and that's the one thing that I often don't like about cases, is that you kind of lose that really slim bezel and all the other cool things about the iPhone 10 and 11 that you might want to have, but it does give you some protection. So we'll see how it works out. Again, I like this little dial here. We'll see if it trips itself in my pocket, and what I'll probably do is do an update on the switch here in the comment stream, so you can see what I've been experiencing over the course of a week or two with it. I've been playing around a little bit, and I'm not seeing it tripping all that often when I'm taking it out of my pocket, if at all. So I think let me start one more time. So you're seeing how my process is here. Oftentimes I do a couple of shoots or a couple of takes to see what I'm trying to say and think about how it sounds as I say it. And then sometimes I'll play it back like I did before, and I'll have like a 5-minute take that I thought was good, but then I'm like, you know what, I could do that better. And then I go back and do it again. And that was actually the big difference between doing this full-time and part-time, is that when I was part-time, I didn't have the time to go back. So if it was good enough, I would just go with it. Now that I have more time, I can say, you know what, I don't like the way that sounds, so I'm going to go back and try to make it better. So let's do that again. And sometimes I just ramble on for hours, and that's often not good either. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so I've got my 3, 2, 1. So I've got my wireless charger out here. We're going to take my, oops, don't want to do that. I want to break the phone. I have a case now. It shouldn't break. 3, 2, 1. All right, I've got the wireless charger out now, so let's attach my phone to it and see if it charges when we do get it there, and it looks like it is working. So all in, it seems like the case will work as advertised. Wireless charging works. It's got a nice protective layer around my phone now. The one thing that I don't like about cases in general is that it takes these very slim phones with these slim bezels and basically adds a bezel to it. So you do have to get used to the fact that your super slim phone will be a little less slim, but it will be protected. Now what I'm going to do with this in the long term is keep you updated as to how the case is working for me. So what I'm looking for is whether or not I'm going to accidentally engage and disengage silent mode when taking the phone out of my pocket. I don't see it being an issue with my sport jackets and stuff, but probably pants might be a problem. So I will keep you posted on that. I've been messing around a little bit with, I got to call Sarah back here. I've been messing around a little bit with the switch, just playing around with it, and I haven't seen it go off accidentally, but it's something that might, I'm going to start this one more time. Let me tell her I'll call her right back here. So Sarah is actually in the process of starting her own channel, my friend of mine. So I will hopefully introduce you all to her at some point. She's a friend of mine that's been looking to get into this. So let me start one more time and see how we do with this. All right. And then I'll have some time to chat with all of you. 3, 2, 1. Oops. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we've got my wireless charger out here, and if we attach my phone, oops, I gotta get her thing off of there. I'll put the phone on, do not disturb for a second here. Let me just do a quick thing here, okay. One more time. The phone is always the actor in the play here that never cooperates. It's always got something on the screen that I'm like, nope, don't want that. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we got my wireless charger out here. We're going to attach my phone to it, and there we go. It is charging. So we've got charging working through the wireless charger as advertised. The case feels like it will protect the phone, but time will be the real test of that. So what I'm going to do in the comment stream is kind of keep you updated as to how this phone performs, or at least the case. Gosh, not the phone, the case. One more time. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to try out the wireless charger now. We've got my phone here. We're going to attach it to the wireless charger, and let's see if we get a charge. We do. Oops, wrong camera. See, this is my life, everybody. I do take after take, and then what you see is the best one of whatever I do. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we got my wireless charger out now. We're going to attach the phone to it. And it looks like it is able to charge through the case, which is always a good thing. So it looks like it's checking all the boxes for me. What I'm going to do, though, is let you know down in the comment stream what my long-term experience with the case is. So I will let you know if it survives a drop and how far the drop was. I'll also keep you posted on the switch here on the side to see that if it goes off accidentally or not as I'm taking it out of my pants pocket, because that's my only concern with the switch. I like it. I just want to make sure it doesn't go off accidentally, because I don't want to be that person who, you know, it's in whatever, some quiet place and my phone's going off because I accidentally switched the phone off from silent mode. So I will keep you posted on that. I have been just trying it in my pants pocket, out and back in. Hasn't gone off yet, but I will let you know as the days go forward here with that switch there, and that will be something we'll keep you posted on. But it seems to fit the phone nicely. It's pretty easy to get the phone in and out of it. And I think it will provide a nice layer of protection, especially on the back here, which is something that is very fragile on the phone and often results in an automatic replacement if it ever does crack. So stay tuned. We'll have more on this one. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. All right. That is it. So what I'm going to do now, because I thought I was streaming and I wasn't, is I'm going to show you what I was looking at, and then I'm going to have some lunch and then do all of the other boring work that I have to do today. Today's the day that I catch up on all of the paperwork and some of the accounting and all the other things that go into what I do here. So let me finish this part here, add that to my output flow there, and let me show you what I was doing when I thought I was streaming to you, but I wasn't. And I'm going to also just let everyone on Amazon know that we are... Actually, no, I'll just go back through and kind of reset the Amazon thing, because we're going to talk about all the stuff that I just did. So let me go back to here, and we'll just return to the live stream. We're going to go back. So what I do on the Amazon stream is I can specify what product I'm talking about, and there's a and so as I do this, the carousel on the live stream updates with what I am doing. And I don't know where it is on Amazon, so if you want to search for it, you can find it there. So, so let me show you what I was working on here. So I just bought, this was kind of like one of those impulse buys, because I was watching everybody get their new Switch Lite. And I don't have a desire to get a Switch Lite because I have this one, which I'm happy with, but I haven't been happy with the D-pad, or lack thereof, on the regular Nintendo Joy-Con. So that was something I wanted to get here. So that is it. So let me just unpause this real quick so you can see how that works. So it's a good D-pad, actually. You'll see my review of this. I think actually the review I'm going to put on the main channel. And it gives you a full D-pad. Now, the only downside to it is that it doesn't work when it's detached. So unlike the regular Switch things, this is a, it doesn't have a battery, it doesn't have a motor, it doesn't have any wireless communication, so it just works when it's docked. That's it. So it is lighter feeling. It feels a little cheaper than the Switch components, but it works, and I like having that D-pad, so it's pretty good. So I like that, and that's it. So. And Dorji, you know, here's the thing with these game consoles. I don't know why people get so worked up about them. You know, I like my Switch. I think it's a nice device. I use it more than my Xbox and my PlayStation 4. I don't have a PlayStation 4. I use it more than my Xbox. I use it more than my PC does, because it's something that is good enough for the kind of games that I like to play. And I think it's a great thing. And you know what? If people like something, who cares? I mean, it's not a big deal to have something that someone likes. And you know, people like other consoles and PCs better. That's fine. I have a PC, I have a console, but I rarely touch the Xbox. I use this all the time. And I think it's a great device, and I think they've done a lot with it. What I like a lot about what Nintendo has done with the Switch is that they've pushed hardware much further than phones have been pushed. And a good example of that is the fact that if you look at any of the mobile gaming stores, you know, on Google Play or the Apple Store, which they're now doing a subscription service for, is that everything's become this free-to-play garbage that really doesn't take advantage of the hardware. In fact, most of these companies are writing software for like the iPhone 6S and a lot of the other really super low-end phones, because that's where most of the market is. What's been nice about the Switch is that they haven't fallen prey to all of these diminishing values of games, in the sense that they charge full price and you get a full price game as a result. So they're pushing this 5-year-old hardware so much further than I ever expected it to get pushed. More so than we saw on the NVIDIA Shield also. NVIDIA was trying to get developers over to their platform. I think they're making more money now on the Switch. And I really enjoy the Switch quite a bit, and I've just been amazed by what they've been able to do with it. It's a good platform, and the games are better. The high-spec phones don't have good games. If you want to emulate on them, fine. But the fact is that people are really pushing the hardware here because people are willing to pay full price for these games. And there's so many great titles on this. Indie games, there's a lot of great digital games, there's a lot of great cartridge games. I think it's great. I'm sure that NVIDIA is going to rev their hardware and come out with something more powerful. And I would imagine probably next holiday, you'll see a Switch that probably won't be a 4K Switch, but it will be like the Super 1080p version with better graphics and everything else. But it's good stuff. So let me go back through the questions here. So that was the first thing I did. Let me just plug in my computer here before it dies. Was a review of that. So you'll see that on the main channel. The D-pad works really nicely on it. I think it's a nice little thing. And one of the issues that people had with this Hori device in the past was that it was draining the battery, but this doesn't. At least from what I can see. I left it on all night. I left it off the charger all night, and it didn't drain it at all. But it's definitely, you know, cheaper feeling, and as was just pointed out here. Let me see who made that point. Monty Squida said, yeah, it's lighter feeling because the internals aren't there. There's nothing inside of this but a gamepad that connects up. I think it might be communicating wirelessly to the Switch itself. No, actually, no. If you look, there is a little set of pins on here, so it must be just not even using Bluetooth. The latency on it is pretty much the same as the other Switch Joy-Cons, the official ones. So that was what that was. Let's see, let's go back up through some questions here. So BB Garnett wants to know if I checked out Google Play Pass for $1.99. I haven't. So inform me as to what that is. I need to look that up. Maybe I'll look it up real quick. What I did do is I did pay for the demo. I may do a video on this. I paid for the demo the first month for the Apple game store, the Apple Arcade, I think they call it. And it's okay, but the games are not. So I guess put it this way: like I have Game Pass for my PC and my Xbox, and I'm getting like AAA good titles, some really good indie stuff, and I'm just not seeing like similar stuff on mobile. Like the games are not as well fleshed out. So I'll play with it a little bit more. But it looks like I'm just looking on here right now. Google Play Pass. Let me see if I can get my scan converter going here. Google Play Pass is similar to what Apple's doing, and it's $1.99 a month for the first 12 months, and then $4.99 a month after that. And it'd be cool. Let's pull the screen up here, so it might be worth looking at. What might be cool with this is that if it worked, let me just plug in my laptop here. If it worked with Android TV, that would be compelling to me. Because so I think the biggest problem we have right now is that developers are not really incentivized for pushing mobile hardware further. And if you look at, and this is going to go off in a whole bunch of different tangents, but if you look at what Nintendo is doing with the Switch and this old Tegra hardware, and you look at what Oculus is doing with the Oculus Quest, which is essentially, it's a high-end smartphone, but it's not a super high-powered computer. They're doing amazing stuff with VR with a mobile chip. And so why aren't we seeing games really stepping it up? Because, as we know, the high-end smartphones are faster now than the Switch is. We're not seeing it from Apple. We're not seeing it from Google. So I'm hoping maybe that this subscription service and maybe some incentives to developers on both sides might deliver better mobile games. But this is why the games on the Switch cost $60 and why the Switch games are better than mobile games, because Nintendo has been able to really hold the line on game prices. And it's funny because this is really a mobile processor, so it's not like it's any different than a phone or a tablet, but it has a better market around its software, which is something we haven't seen on mobile. And it looks like the only thing that's making money on mobile are games that mimic gambling, to get people just to keep coughing up money for stuff, which is really unfortunate. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see what else we got here. Michael loves my Switch videos. I'm glad you do. So I'm going to put this on the main channel. Initially, I thought I was going to do just an extras channel with this, but as I was going through it, I was like, wow, I actually had enough content here, I think, to make a short main channel video. And this thing's like $15, so you can't go wrong with that. So that was the first thing I did there. What else we got here? Big Mig's text says you can't emulate PS2 games properly on high-spec phones, and that's true. I think that's true. I don't think there's a good PS2 emulator. I think the emulation is going to get harder and harder, because initially when you had the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo and the NES, all the 90s and 80s consoles were off-the-shelf components. The 6502 processor that was in the Atari 2600 was also in the NES and the TurboGrafx 16. The 68000 chip, which was in the Genesis, was in the Mac, the Amiga. Everyone worked with the same stuff, and they just configured different graphics chips around it, perhaps. But this new stuff, Sony and Microsoft, for at least the hardware cycle, were developing custom chips for the consoles. They're going back now to more standardized hardware. So the Xbox One and the PS4 are essentially using x86 systems on chips from AMD. So I think we might see probably emulation of an Xbox One before maybe a PS2, perhaps on mobile. I don't know, but we'll see how all of it comes together. But yeah, it's been really intriguing to see how Nintendo has been able to make the Switch work, because I didn't think people would spend that much for games anymore, but they are. And it's a great, I just love it. I think it's a great console. It doesn't do VR. So what I've been hooked on over the last 2 months is I'm back on No Man's Sky. That's like my evening ritual now. The VR, as you saw, I did that live stream with the VR. The VR is awesome on it. And and I'm building up like a fleet. So I've got a frigate, and I have a freighter, and I have like a fleet of like 6 frigates that I send out on missions, and I'm building up my money, and so I don't know. There's no like end to that game. You just keep playing it, and the VR mode is just completely immersive. So it's been really fun. Monty says I can call him Monty. That'll be a lot easier for me. Thank you. What else we got here? James McGill says there's over 300 games, including Stardew Valley. That must be the Google Play Pass. So yeah, I should try that. What I want to see here, let me go back over to it. It'd be killer if it works on Android TV. Oh, okay, so they're just focused on mobile, laptop, and tablet. Huh. It'd be good for people on Chromebooks, though. So that might work. Yeah, this might be a good video. Maybe I'll do something on this and on the Apple one. Now, the Apple one is going to work on Apple TV also if the game is compatible. Yeah, maybe I'll give this a go. That might be fun, because I was thinking about doing the Apple one, but it might be fun maybe I could do like a wrap-up of all of them, because you have Game Pass, which we did already, and then Google Play and Apple Arcade. So the question would be, now that Microsoft is doing this, Sony I think is probably going to do something similar. I wonder if Nintendo will do something, because of course they have the online service, so you can get your NES games and Tetris 99 and a few other things, but I wonder if they're going to do something different there. All right, let's go back to your chat questions. What if I can detach this and pop out chat? There we go. So let's see what else we have to talk about today. So Juan is calling in from Argentina. He wants to know when the review of the Acer Aspire is going live on the main channel. It is going live tonight. That's one of my tasks for this afternoon, is to polish up the edit on that one. I reviewed it yesterday. It is a good computer. I'll give you one spoiler on that review, which is that you do need to add RAM to it, because it comes with, as you saw in the extras channel when we unboxed it, it has a single channel configuration by default because it only has 1 stick of RAM. So you'll probably want to get a second stick of DDR4, because the graphics performance is much better with 2 sticks of RAM versus 1. And it's not just the volume of memory, it's the fact that you have 2 channels of it that really feed that to there. Takian wants to know if I've done latency tests on the Mister. I haven't yet, and the reason why I haven't is because I don't know if the USB hub that I have is the best one for the lowest latency. So I'm doing an event at Retro World Expo this weekend on Saturday in Hartford, and I'll be on a panel with Bob from Retro RGB. He's got a great channel. He's like the best latency tester on YouTube, far better than me. And I'm going to talk to him and just get a sense as to what he recommends for the best USB hub for the Mister to use, because I'm using like this Amazon hub, which isn't bad, but it's something that I want to make sure I get the best possible latency. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. And we're going to disconnect the Amazon folks now. So bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, because I am done with all of my show and tell for Amazon. So I'm going to end that stream there. But I'll continue on with you folks on YouTube for another few minutes here before I have to jump off here, because I know I feel bad because I started streaming right when I was done. So yeah, and as Monty says here, AMD APUs love dual channel memory and Ryzen loves faster RAM. And that is true. And actually, it's true of Intel also. We found that with the Intel graphics, although not as good as the AMD graphics, the Intel graphics also like dual channel memory. So that's really important. Yeah, that laptop's good. I have it over there somewhere. And what's nice about it is that you've got the backlit keyboard, you've got the 1080p display, 5.6 inch IPS, so it looks good. The keyboard's backlit. It can play more games than a comparable Intel computer can by a large stretch. We're finding it kind of falls close to like what we see on an i5 Intel machine. So for $315, that's a good deal. So if you go over to the extras channel, you'll see the unboxing there. You can take a look at it and get a feel for it. But it's a good deal. So who else has got questions? I'm going to be heading out to lunch in a minute here, so fire away here. I'll go back through the older ones here and see if... Yeah, so it looks like, so I was trying to figure out what happened, because it looked like for the last hour when I started the stream, so just to give everybody up to speed, YouTube changed, as they changed everything, they changed their live stream interface, so I made a specific event for a live stream, and when I created the event, I thought I was live because I was streaming into the thing, but I didn't hit the go live button, because typically what I do is I just have it go to the live stream live now thing, which I probably should just keep doing. So I was going on for an hour doing my whole video shtick here, and it turns out I was not streaming at all. I was streaming to Amazon, but not to you all. That's what happened. So I figured I would stay around for a little bit and chat with you all. So it looks like some of you got a notification, or it showed up in the subscription feed, and then there was like 15 of you, and then when I actually went live, that's when it pushed the notification out to more of you. So I think that's what happened there. Lon Dog's been watching hot sauce reviews. I gotta watch some of those. It's gotta be fun to watch, because it's hard to convey taste over something like this. Let's see. Any way to use a Genesis Mini controller on Switch? I actually prefer the 3-button pad. So I don't think so, because the 6-button pad that we looked at from Retrobit has to be put into a Switch mode for that to work. So I don't think that's possible. It would be nice if they did allow that, because I think a lot of those Genesis games you can play on the Switch would really work well with the 3-button pad. George from Greece wants to know, any thoughts on NVIDIA Shield TV as a Plex server or on Android 9? So my opinion on NVIDIA Shield as a Plex server is that it can do it, and we did a video about how it does work, and it does transcoding, it does a lot of the things that you would want to have happen. But it's pushing everything to a limit there, because the Shield doesn't have a lot of RAM to play with, so if you're doing something else on the Shield, it might impact its Plex serving capability, or vice versa. So my opinion has been to not use the Shield as a Plex server. But if you are not doing much beyond watching Plex with it, I think it's probably fine. So it's certainly better than a lot of other things out there, including a lot of little mini PCs that don't have the transcoding feature built in. So it's worth taking a look at. But my preference would be to find a network-attached storage device, even though it costs more, or a mini PC that supports Intel QuickSync transcoding. So that's what I would look at. Aaron Johnson asked about my opinion of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and the LG Stylo phones. You know, I haven't tried them, so I really can't give you much of an opinion. I will say Jake, who helps me out here on the channel, he has a Galaxy S10 or Note 10 that he loves, and he's using that all the time. So he really likes that for note-taking and just general phone usage. So that's good. That works well for him. My problem with phones is that I don't get a lot of phones in. So it's hard for me to go out and buy a lot of them, especially given that I don't get a lot of traffic on my phone reviews. So I do the iPhone because I own it, and I use it. That's like my daily driver phone. But it's not a good business decision for me to go out and buy a lot of high-end phones and review them, because I will not make that back. There's so many people that review phones that I would be buried in the deluge of phone reviews that come out. So if the phone, sorry, Siri is transcoding here. If the phone isn't available to me inexpensively or is provided to the channel, then I usually don't review it. I do look at inexpensive phones though, so if there are things that are like in the $200 territory, I'm always eager to check those out, because I can at least make that work. But the high-end phones are really hard to do. But Google sends us the Google Pixel 3a that I have right here. And this has been a great phone, very reasonably priced. This would have been something, if I had jumped in early enough, I probably would have bought to review. So we'll see if they continue sending us stuff, because this was a good phone, and this was a great one for my channel, because I like the mid-range stuff, because I think that's what my viewers like too. Let's see here. So Dean says, yo, 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 what's up from North Carolina? Hope it's going well down there in North Carolina. Things are great here in Connecticut. BB Garnett wants to know my thought on Disney Plus. I think Disney Plus is going to be a hit. It's going to be hard for it not to be because everyone knows that the content is great. So that is, I think it's going to be a very successful platform, and Disney can afford to stream it at $7 a month. They've got content that people will pay billions for free for them. I don't understand though why they're offering people can pre-order Disney Plus. Like, where's the scarcity that you need to pre-order something like that? It doesn't make sense to me. But everything else looks like a good deal, so I'm looking forward to that. Link Designs wants to know if I think the Shield TV revision will be worth upgrading from the original. I think probably not. My guess is that they're going to shrink it down to something because what we saw, and the Switch is a good indicator as to where the Shield's going to go, because they have a new revision of the chip that consumes less power and doesn't run as hot as a result. So I would guess they could probably squeeze the power of the Shield into a dongle, perhaps. That might be what we see. I don't have any direct knowledge of that other than what we're seeing on some of the rumor sites, but we'll have to see where that comes into play. David Thielman has 2 WD Live boxes that need to be replaced. Any replacement device that's going to do the same or better besides the Shield, no transcoding needed to stream from NAS. The problem is the Shield is still the best. It really is. I think, you want to get something with Ethernet. And I found like with the Mi Box S that we looked at, that one, you had to plug USB in to get the Ethernet, and it wasn't running at full gigabit speed. So you may have to shop around a little bit. The problem that we have right now is that there's a lot of junk boxes on Amazon. So if you're doing like your own Kodi thing or something, oh, I said the word, I'm going to get demonetized. If you're doing your own media server application that is not to be named, you could probably make it work with one of those junk boxes. Minix actually has a couple of boxes that they've released. They have like a regular one and one they call the industrial box. That one might be worth looking at because it's not going to rival the stream for games and emulation, but I think for video watching it should do well. And those SoCs are really good at video decoding, so we'll have to see how that comes together. What's my take on the all-screen trend? I miss having bezels for speakers and home buttons. Yeah, it's funny. Well, if you want bezels, buy a case. You'll get the bezels back. That's what I've got here on my phone, unfortunately. So it's, yeah, I'm of two minds of it. I mean, I like a thin bezel device. I think it looks nice. But it's hard because then you lose the camera. So what Apple, of course, did is they put the notch in. Other people are poking out holes for cameras. They had the Huawei thing where the camera comes up from the screen. We'll see how they deal with it. I think at some point they'll have some transparent layer and the camera will just be integrated into the screen, and that might be how it goes. I will say with the Apple phone, the one thing that I miss a lot is the fingerprint reader, because I don't look at my phone when I'm driving. But occasionally, if I ask Siri to, like, here's a great case in point. Somebody's at the door, and I want to have Siri unlock the door for someone who I'm wanting to allow into my home. I have to unlock the phone, even if I issue a voice command to the phone to do it. And the only way to unlock the phone is to take my eyes off the road and look at it, whereas before, I could hit the fingerprint sensor without even looking at the phone and be able to unlock the phone to continue doing whatever needed verification. Now the watch makes up for that because if I have the watch on and unlocked, I can issue the voice command to the watch. But occasionally there's things that I need to ask the phone for that it won't tell me unless I unlock the phone first, and the only way to unlock it is to look at it. So that's been a problem. Let's see what the next question is here. From Monty, what Android version did that Samsung S8 have? That one is not on the latest. I updated it to work with Google Daydream, and it was a huge process because I had to manually load on a firmware. So what I'm going to do the next time Jake comes in is I'm going to have him bring his Note 10 with him, and we'll try out all that stuff to see if we can get DeX working. So that's what we're going to do on that front. BB Garnett wants to know, do I think Amazon is ever going to try to get back into the phone game or just stick with exclusive phones? I don't think the phone game worked for them at all. I think they're doing much better with Prime exclusive phones where they can offer a discount, get their software pre-installed, and not have to worry about manufacturing a phone. I think it's hard. Facebook tried a phone too, I think, didn't they? Or they did some phone thing that didn't work out. So we'll have to see what happens. Nick wants to know if I can ask Plex for a better way to back up and transfer server data. There is no one-click backup. That is a good point. I'm going to ask them about that. because right, you can't back up your metadata really all that easily. And it would be nice for them to have some way to do that if you're moving to a new system or something. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. Oh, you're on the WD. Yeah, so I think Synology, you can like back up all your applications and their related data. I don't think WD has that on their devices. You know, it's funny, I haven't really thought about that issue in the migration, but that is a problem, isn't it? Especially for some of the data you want to keep on there. I think if people want to just buy movies and TV shows, you know, yeah, I mean, you still. I think that's what it is too. You still have the choice. You can buy movies still from them. I just like I want to watch The Mandalorian. There's a lot of stuff that I want to watch that I don't want to buy, so and I don't want to rent. So I think for me it's going to be great because I can catch up on like all the Marvel stuff. I have not watched any of the Marvel movies, and everybody keeps talking about them. So I want to watch a few of them. I don't want to, you know, pay more than $5 a month to do it. So I think that might be kind of fun. The Mi Mix Alpha. Yeah, I did see some of those phones at CES last year, I think. There's some really, like, yeah, some of these phones have, like, just all they are is a screen. It's cool. And we're seeing more, by the way, of the fingerprint sensor getting integrated into the display. So even Motorola had a phone in IFA that did that. So it will tell you where to put your finger on the display, and then it will read your fingerprint that way. So that's pretty neat. So Monty says, yeah, if it was Android 8, it wouldn't work dockless, as that requires Android 9. Okay, so yeah, I'll try to get Android 9 on that phone and see if I can get things going with that. Flood of Sins, are you going to review the new Amazon Echo thing for the car? You know, I am not, for a couple reasons. One is that I just don't see that being successful. Here's the thing, if Amazon's not selling it at volume, then it's not going to help me at all because no one's going to be out looking for it and I'm not going to get any traffic on it. The other thing is that if you have a smartphone in your car, you know, I don't understand, I'm not being critical of you, Flood, I just don't understand like how this works or what's the advantage of it if you already have a phone in your car. And then what do you have to do? You got to tether it to your phone, so you've got that to deal with, unless it's got its own connection, but then you're paying for that. So I'm not sure if it's going to work for me or consumers for that matter. I can see why they want to do it, especially given how effective I think CarPlay and Android Play have worked out. So, so that's there. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see if I missed anything else from you all. I'm going to have to get going here in a minute, folks. So I apologize for having a shorter stream that I had anticipated. Because I thought I was streaming for an hour and wasn't, but that's okay because I was doing something else. I was recording, I was getting some of my work done here, so this was not time wasted, but I do appreciate the 15 of you that were in when I wasn't streaming who were hanging out with me, so appreciate that for everybody. So hey, thank you, Russell. Good afternoon to you. So by the way, Russell has one of the has the verified check mark here. Let me just show you what that looks like, because that was a big topic of discussion before, right? 12 gigs of RAM on a phone is crazy, Flood. I agree with that completely. And this was what a lot of us were about to lose, was the verification thing. And you know, I think it matters for your brand, especially given it was something YouTube decided to give to people and then take away, which now they're letting us keep again. And I still don't know what impact it has on search, and that is a big question in my mind. And to show you what I mean by that, if we go over to YouTube, and if we search, for example, if we do a search for, let's just search for iPhone 11 Pro, right? What are we going to see on here? Well, I mean, every one of these, with the exception of one of these videos, let's go back over to the search here, has, you know, they're verified. Now, does that mean that the search engine is putting these channels ahead because they are verified? I don't know. So iFixit here is not verified. They should be, because look how big they are. But my concern was, you know, does that check mark also act as a search signal? Because as I'm going through this list here, everybody is verified. And by the way, you can see where I am on this list now. So this is why I don't review phones, because I end up at the bottom. But if you want a wise light bulb, let's see how we do with that, all right? There, boom, I am here. Now, what's interesting about this group of products is that this is not something that verification is driving, but I don't know if I'm here because of the badge, right? So that's the thing that I'm most concerned about is, what impact does the badge have in search results? And it's not something that would be evident to anybody except the people at YouTube who never really want to talk about how this works. So that's something I'm worried about. All right, a couple more, and then I got to run because I got to get some of my boring work done. This is more fun than the work I have to do today. Because when you run a channel, as a business, you got business work to do. I got accounting stuff to do. I've got a more fun thing. I am setting up a website, so I have a conference call about that in a little while. So that's going to be fun to do. And I should check and see if he's emailed me about that. So I've got that. I have a couple other things I'm working on, all channel related, but I try to do all this stuff on Wednesdays. Oh, and somebody just ordered something from the store. So it looks like I sold all my little tiny arcades, so I got to ship that out now too. So see, this is the kind of stuff that I do on Wednesdays. So let's see what else we got here. The Tab S6 is overpriced. That's the Samsung tablet, I believe. I haven't checked. I should check one of those out. BB Garnett wants to say, did you see Comcast is upgrading internet speeds in certain areas? And my upload speed increased, or at least today I got 17 megabits per second up, and the most he's ever gotten before was 12. Well, that's promising because I am still at the 12, and I check every 2 weeks or so. I go in and check to see if there's a faster upload option, and it's never there. So I'm hoping we get there. So a year and a half ago, Comcast rolls out gigabit. We've got gigabit in Connecticut, except where I am. I don't have any of that. And I want the gigabit service, not so much for downstream, but for upstream, because they give you a 35 megabit per second upstream connection, which is more than, of course, the 12 I have now, or the 10 or whatever. So I'm almost 3 times faster. Even though it's still slow, it's better, faster than what I got. And I'm still waiting on that. But yes, everybody, I am setting up a website. And Rich says my terms and conditions page at checkout is broken. I'll have to look at that and see what's going on with that. But yeah, I am setting up a website to act as a landing page for what I do. What it's going to consist of are, or pretty much going to have all of the videos that I do here show up there. The interface is going to look a lot like YouTube also, but I figured I need to have a spot online because I'm missing out on SEO opportunities in the sense that if people are on Google, I'm getting a lot of traffic from Google to the YouTube channel, but I think I would get more if I have a website also. So what'll happen is that if you're searching on Google for a product review, if my website is there, you click on the website, you go to my site, the video from YouTube will be embedded. And we're working on some automation so that we don't have to do a lot of work to get the stuff over there. And the other thing we're doing is we're going to do a list of buying guides. So my other helper, my friend James, who does work remotely from his dorm room, he's putting together collections of videos that I've done on certain product categories, because typically the videos I do are one-off for, I do a one-off video on the Switch and then another one on the Xbox. So it'd be fun to have, I think, a buying guide where I can roll up all the reviews of a certain product category together and say, here's all the stuff I've looked at. Here's what I think is the best right now, because it's hard on YouTube to do this stuff because people come to me in a non-linear fashion. A lot of people find a video that I did 4 years ago and then dig into all the stuff from that period of time. So the website might be a great place to have these buying guides set up. So as things change, we can update them and say what the best of whatever category it is. So I really want to do this VR thing. So we're going to do a VR buying guide on the YouTube channel and then have something else on the website. And as you're reading through the article, all the videos will be embedded, so you can go ahead and play all those different videos in that product category. So that's kind of what we're looking for. It's going to look nice. And the company that's doing it for me has been really good about it. It's been a very fun thing to do. So we're going to look at that and see what happens. And BB Garnett says his upgrade was free and just happened. So I'll have to test my speed later. I'm streaming out right now, and I don't want to mess up that, but we'll take a look at that. Let's see what else we got here. And here's a great example of that. So let me switch back over here. So MG Fur must have an interest in cars because he's seeing a review of the Chevy Volt that I did back in 2013, I think, 2013 or 2014. That was 6 years ago. 3 cars ago for me, actually. So I did a review of the Chevy Volt. And so this is the example of that you know, it's so people consume YouTube in a very nonlinear way, and they're recommended things in a very nonlinear way. So that's I thought that was interesting. Now MG Fur wants to know more, see more of a long-term review. And actually, what happened with my Chevy Volt is that I leased the car. I was so excited to get an electric car, or be able to get one, period. And so the Volt, when it was announced, was more expensive than I thought it should have been. So I think the car was like $43,000 US, somewhere in that. And I think if you started adding on all the stuff, you could get into like $45,000, $47,000, $48,000. Crazy. So, and I'm looking at this thinking like, this is a hatchback. I mean, that much for a hatchback. So what I decided to do with the Volt was that I leased it. And I've never leased a car before. I'm not one of these people that likes to lease things. I like to own things, even if I'm paying a car payment. So I leased the car. And I'm really glad that I did, because the value of the Volt plummeted at the end of my 3-year lease. I had to be careful about my mileage. It was kind of a pain because I had to track my mileage every month to make sure I wasn't going over, because they charge you more if you go more miles on it. But the residual value of the car, what they wanted me to pay to buy it at the end of the lease, was like much higher than what it was actually worth. So it was great to have use of the electric car, and the lease payment was reasonable, but it would really, the value just plummeted on that thing, and so I'm glad I didn't end up buying it outright, because I would have been underwater. So that's why there wasn't a long-term review on it. But I know people that have them, and the long-term is good on them. I mean, the battery, I think, is probably going to be the only area of concern that I'm going to have for folks, because that battery is not being manufactured because they're not making the Volt anymore. So I don't know what's going to happen with battery repairs down the road with it. That's the one thing to be concerned about. But the car itself, depending on how much they were driving electric versus gas, I think will actually have a much better longevity, because the electric motor is just far better for wear and tear. But if you have a Volt that's had a lot of miles on the gas engine, that might impact things. I don't know if they break it out, because I know there was screens that I could see on the car that you could reset, but would give you gas mileage versus electric mileage. And I think if you're looking for one, getting one that is been used mostly electric is probably where you want to go. Sudhir says he's a frequent viewer of my reviews. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you are enjoying them. And we've got some things on the Wise coming up. We've got the Wise plugs in. So if you want to see how that works, I have a light attached to it. Watch this. So we can go over to my Wise app. Where is it? Wise. So we got the Wise plugs in. Where did I put it? Here they are. This is what they look like. And so, they're smart plugs with a switch. And what you can do, so I got a light off camera. Watch this. Ready? I'm going to hit the button. See? That's what they do. But they integrate with some of the other stuff you do. So this was the unboxing. I'll have a full review on the main channel shortly, so be on the lookout for that. So I like doing the smart home stuff. And it's funny, the Wise products do very well on this channel. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe YouTube thinks I'm a definitive voice for it, but every time I review one of these things, I get a good amount of traffic. And over the long haul, these earn well, in the sense that I get a lot of ad revenue from these. For whatever reason, like the YouTube revenue on this kind of stuff is so much better than it is on games and other things. So I love doing this stuff. And then I get a lot of Amazon affiliate links back on these too. So that's part of what I like about the Wise products. And they're good. I mean, I wouldn't review something just because it makes money. I actually like them. I think they are affordable. There's no monthly fee with this stuff. Like they're decent products, and they're better quality than you would expect. What I want is an outdoor doorbell camera from them. If that happens, I'll be really excited. So we'll see what happens. My gut is they're going to get bought by somebody, probably Amazon. So we'll see how that goes. But these are really good, inexpensive products. By the way, the set of two, $15 for a set of two. The camera's like $20, $30. I mean, you can't beat it. It's good stuff. Their business model depends on them continually selling stuff because that's their only margin is there. And they've got overhead. They got server overhead for all the cameras that are deployed. They don't charge you for that. So, they're good. I hope it lasts because they're really good little products and I enjoy them quite a bit. So I'm glad you enjoy those too. Let's see. MG first says, one search for electric car and I've come up. And I think too, MG, that I'm sure that YouTube gives you me because you're a subscriber. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. So that's it. I'm the Brown. I know you know me longer than that. That's funny. Yeah, and Rich also said the nearly instant response of the control is much better than all the. I'm assuming he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about the light bulb or the car, because I will say electric cars have immediate response also. They're really fun to drive. So, but yes, the immediate response on the switch here is pretty good too. So, all right, folks, I got to get back to doing some work here because I got a bunch of stuff on my to-do list, and I want to thank everyone for, first of all, for the 15 of you that were sticking around as I wasn't streaming when I thought I was, and for those of you who did watch the stream too. It looks like there's about 65 of you here watching me right now. And I'll take one more question here because it came from somebody. Alex, I wants to know if I picked up a Switch Lite yet. No, I didn't. But this is why I got this thing and reviewed it, because I wanted that D-pad. So now I'm happy. I don't have to buy a new console, and I've got my $15 D-pad attachment there. So Shalom, Asaf, welcome from Israel. The big New Year is coming up, so happy Rosh Hashanah to you. And he's talking about the light bulb. Okay, so Rich was talking about the light bulb, but the cars are good too. Hey, Mark, you know what? Mark, I got to get in touch with you because I owe you a phone call. So everybody, Mark's Custom Puzzles. So my friend Mark was on the Rotary Club with me for a while. Mark makes hand-cut jigsaw puzzles, and he's been doing live streams of him making the puzzles. They're really fun to watch. So check out his channel here. I think he's on Twitch and Facebook also. So definitely check him out. And I gotta call Mark. Let's do lunch because Mark lives right up the street from me here. So I want to get back together with him and help him out, get his streaming going, because I think it's a fun thing to watch. And I'm sure that people watch him because they want to see if he's going to have an accident, because his fingers are so close to the jigsaw, but he's a master of it. And he does it full time. It's his job. He does some great stuff. And you can mail him a photo and he'll make a jigsaw puzzle out of it for you. It's pretty neat. So check it out. All right, everybody. I'm going to run here and have some lunch. And Mark, email me. We'll get lunch and get going there. Any one of you want to email me for lunch too, have at it. If you're nearby, we'll grab lunch. I always like to get out of the basement every once in a while. So I'm going to stop the stream now. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're going to have all this stuff up on the Extras channel shortly, so be on the lookout for that. And we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.